So good morning, everybody. So here, uh, design bending strength of laterally unsupported beam. See, you can see the formula remains the same here, whether it is laterally supported or unsupported. If you look at this formula here, it is beta b zp into fbd, where fbd is design bending compressive strength when the beam is laterally unsupported. Rest all is same. Now you can see this one. As you know, beta B is related to whether the beam is plastic, compact, or semi-plastic, like that, semi-compact. So usually this is 1. In most of the cases, beta B will be 1. Otherwise, it is ZP by ZE. Otherwise, you should just divide ZP by ZE if it is not equal to 1. So once the beam, you find that once the beam is plastic, you don't have to worry about this value. ZP is, as you know, it is plastic modulus. FBD, it means if you compare these two equations, if you compare the formula for design bending strength of laterally unsupported and laterally supported beams. Laterally supported means it was 6th semester problem. Formula looks almost same. The way you calculate FBD, because we have to include the phenomena of lateral torsional buckling. So lateral torsional buckling is a phenomenon not observed when the compression flange is properly supported. It will not move sideways. So lateral torsion buckling comes into play if the beam is allowed to move laterally, sideways. If the compression flange is embedded inside the concrete. I already told you this one. Just observe this figure. Actually, I was facing a problem with internet today. Otherwise, I would have started exactly at 11:30 only. There was a problem here. So if you see this here, whenever you see the 6th semester problems, you can imagine this type of a situation. You can see this is a compression flange is embedded inside the concrete, or it is in some other way. Not every time you can't say, but in one or the other way, the compression flange is not allowed to move laterally. It is laterally restrained. Okay, laterally unsupported or unrestrained means there is no question of there is no question of any embedment of this particular compression flange inside the concrete or any other arrangement which prevents the lateral movement of the compression flange. That is not there in case of MTech level problems. It means it is unrestrained problem. So what I have done here is, if you read the notes or codebook, it is not easy to grasp it. Okay, grasping becomes difficult here. Initially, what I will do, I'll give one simple technique how to solve this, because you here you need not worry about the formula, how to remember. Everything is there in a specific page of IS 800. So you don't have to worry about the formula, remembering the equations. It is there on a particular page. You should know the procedure, that's all. First understand the procedure, then go into the deeper aspects. If you want explanation on lateral, this one, you have to refer higher end books only. In normal steel structures, explanation will not be complete because they are more focused on problem solving. Okay. You have to refer Subramaniam or any book which is higher than that. That I will give you. If you want to know more about all these things, first, whatever is examination point of view, how to solve, I will cover that much first. Observe this one here. What it means here is, when you compare design bending strength for laterally restrained or laterally supported and unsupported beams, the formula looks very similar. The way you calculate the stress, whatever stress I have shown here, is different. In that case, it was very simple. The way you calculate this one, so what you should do is, when you solve laterally supported beams, you try to understand how we calculated this. Now I'm going to calculate this one. You can see here. it means lengthy calculation is involved. Finally, you arrive at FBD. In your syllabus, in your problem number 1 of your module 1 will be this. Or shear center. Shear center I will not explain right now. It is a very different concept is there. What is the shear center? How to understand? That is still more tricky than this. Any one question you have to solve actually in the exam. But anyway, we'll take it up later on. So this is, see this. Now what I will do is, let us concentrate on how to find out FBD, because once you find FBD, you have to substitute in this formula, and you can say that much is design bending strength, that much bending moment the material can take up, that the beam can take up. Okay. So MD is nothing but moment of resistance of laterally unrestrained or unsupported beam. MD is that. It is also moment of resistance. So coming to this one here, how to understand this, we can see that one. Let us see this. So many parameters are there to be calculated here. I'll not explain that I'll give the notes for that. I'll give you what is what there. Gamma LT, alpha LT, phi LT. See this one here. In order to calculate FBD, in order to calculate this one, or whatever I'm telling, this one, you have to calculate first FCRB. We'll see that one. What are these? Lambda LT, alpha LT, phi LT, chi LT, whatever this X LT is, usually they call it as chi LT. It is not exactly X, but you write it as X only in the exam. Okay. Now observe this. Here, calculate FCRB, gamma LT. These notations I will tell you. Alpha LT you don't have to write, is 0.1. It means it is fixed. This value is there in the codebook also. Even if you forget 0.21, you can refer and get it. I'll show you that. So alpha LT, no need to worry much. It is fixed number. Phi LT is this formula. You can see this. Again, why I have shown like this is, why it is shown in this order only. The reason is you cannot calculate alpha LT before FCRB, because you see this alpha LT, I mean gamma LT. Gamma LT is 250 by square root of 250 by FCRB. Whatever value is here, no, this FCRB has to be substituted here. That is why in the order you calculate while solving the problem, in that order only I have shown these parameters. Once you find FCRB, here gamma LT is square root of 250 by this. Okay. Once you calculate gamma LT, alpha LT can be calculated, but here it is rolled steel section is there 0.21. You just remember it. Next, phi LT. See this. Phi LT has got alpha LT inside in the formula. Okay. That is why alpha LT and lambda LT both are there. This is alpha LT, this is lambda LT. Can you see this one? Are you able to see this numbers, whatever formula? Is it clearly seen on your mobile?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see this phi LT you cannot calculate unless you know these two, lambda LT and alpha LT. Look at this formula. Once you get phi LT, then only chi LT can be obtained. X LT, whatever you can call it. Usually it's called chi, K-A-I, chi LT we call it as. But since it is shown as X, there is no problem. X LT you can say equal to 1 divided by all this. Again you see this phi LT is there, lambda LT is there. So lambda LT is again 0.21. It means here when you calculate all these parameters, you'll be spending more time in FCRB calculation. It's going to take time here because you have to substitute all this elasticity value and all this. This part it is raised to 0.5. In one more page it is clear, more clear it is. But I wanted to remember it in this way only. The note should be written like this. There is no there is no question of writing notes and all here. You should remember how to proceed with the solution. What I can do in order to find what is ultimately what has happened here is due to the phenomenon of lateral torsional buckling. Okay, lateral one term, torsional second term, buckling three term. If you know all these three individually, you will understand what is lateral. You should know what is torsion. You should know torsional. What is buckling? If you know these things individually, then only you can understand the entire meaning. Along with one animation, I have already sent it. You have to see that one because your effort is also required here. You should not depend on my teaching only here. Your effort is more important. Now see this one here. This is how it is calculated. Once you do this, FBD, once you calculate it, okay, I'll show that one here. This is for another method of finding gamma LT. Now one more here is, now look at this one here. FCRB I calculate. Gamma LT, one more method is there. You have to see, understand properly which method I should go, because that method is little bit more tedious. And the examiners, they're not bothered which method you should, but my suggestion is you try to understand both. Both you should follow it because there more lengthy calculations are there. It means what I'm trying to say here is PTO for another method of finding gamma LT. Alpha LT is already 0.21. Only gamma LT calculation is little bit lengthy. It is not as simple as square root of 250 by FCRB. It is not as simple as that. That I think once you master this particular method, you can try that also. Till today, examiners are not bothered whether how you should calculate a gamma LT. They are not bothered about such things. Any method if you can use and solve it. But actually, you should know both methods. Because afterwards, you should not say that he has not explained this method and that method only has come in the exam. You learn that, but this is best method. And till today, nobody is specific about the method because both are giving the same numbers. So I'll go to the solution part here. 2-3 examples I will share it in the WhatsApp. You try to solve them because one full-fledged 20 marks problem I have to solve in the next class. This is all basics I am telling. What are these notations? What is gamma LT? What is alpha LT? All those things you learn it. But initially you are exposed to the correct procedure. I think I need to download one more page from Sairam book now. Let us see whether it is there in this. This is your this is the code book. This is the steel tables. You can see there are 97 pages of the steel table here. There are 150 pages of IS, 800 is here. Both are there. Actually, I wanted one more. I need to actually download it here in order to solve this problem. But the actual question paper problem is easier than this, what I'm doing here. Question paper example is somewhat easy. Easy means almost same, but there are some issues which are directly available in the question paper. If you solve this, that will not be a problem for you. So these are the pages I need here. I'll download one more. There is a net problem is there in this area actually. Sairam table. It may be there already merged. I don't know. In that notes only, it might have been merged. But anyway, I don't remember it. Sairam table. I'll just download it. So I'll explain how to solve one full-fledged problem on laterally unrestrained steel beam. I'm not able to actually zoom it. Anyway, just see this one. Okay. Now, first of all, if this table is not given in the question paper, for example, table is not there, what you should do is whatever L is given in the problem, same L use and solve it. Don't worry about this destabilizing condition and all. Directly use that number and solve the problem. Okay. If the table is given, you have to solve it more accurately. So this table may be there in the, I'll just check it. Where it is, I have not seen the steel, this one, but it has to be there because he cannot create his own table actually. No author is, no author can create his own tables. He has to refer the code books only. Now see this one here. This is one table, I will refer it. How this table is useful, I'll explain it. So let us start this problem here. So this is a single page. That whatever I explained just now, it is a single page. I'll just check whether this is a second example or what. How many pages are there here? This is actually laterally restrained. I have solved in the previous class that it is already uploaded. I think this is not required. today. Only I need this page as well as this. Okay. Totally 3 pages are there. Now observe this one here. Same problem which I have solved, same problem which I have solved as restrained beam. Everything is same. I am telling you to solve it as, assume it as laterally unrestrained or unsupported. Solve the example if the beam section is laterally unsupported. It means inside the bracket calculate only MD. It is not full-fledged design. Full-fledged design will come later on. If you have to follow this calculation, then only. But even this problem they can ask without any further information. Means only this can be a problem in the examination. It is not a design problem, but it's still you are finding design bending strength. It can be a full-fledged example. Assume torsional end. So here one sentence is there. Because of that sentence, I am going to refer that particular table, whatever I was showing. Assume torsional and warping restraints are provided at the supports. What does it mean? Supports are not allowing the member to rotate about its own axis. Whenever you try to rotate a member about its own axis, it results in a torsion if it is prevented. If that rotation is prevented, it is as simple as strength of material that you must have already seen that one. See this here. When do we say that there is a torsion in the member? When do we say that there is a torsion in the member? So you try to rotate this one here. You try to rotate about its longitudinal axis. If this body starts rotating, there is no question of any torsion. Now you fix it. I don't know whether I'm repeating the same things for you people, but anyway, see, you fix it inside the way we show it now, like this. The way we show like this. This is a circular member. It is fixed here. Okay. Now you rotate it. Other end is fixed end. It is preventing the twisting moment. So this is nothing but twisting. I'm trying to twist the member. Other end is not allowing that one. Then I can say the member is subjected to torsion. So here that assumption is there in this problem. What they are telling? Assume torsional and warping restraint are provided. Remember only at the supports. Throughout the length, if it is there means it is an example of compression flange inside the concrete. It is not throughout. They are telling only assume torsional and warping restraints are provided at the supports, not throughout. Only at the support. It may be fixed ends, or like that. That is why these are. It is not allowed to buckle torsionally at the supports. Also, load acts on the upper flange. I have to place the load on the upper flange, which will have destabilizing effect. When you read this sentence, it means you have to refer that table. Whatever I have shown just now, downloaded it. I'll show you how to use that. Here, so what I'm doing here is a section is given to me and some boundary conditions are given. They are in the form of, you have seen it. Some, whatever I underlined now, underlined with the red color. Those are the some boundary conditions they have mentioned. Consider those boundary conditions and find out MD. Find out the design bending strength of laterally unsupported or unrestrained B. Now observe this one here. What I am doing is, again I have written the formula MD beta B ZP FBD. Only this is the FBD is only the notation that is changed in laterally unrestrained. Now what I will do is, I will go according to, see this one here, I will go according to whatever I was explaining now. I will go according to this. Just observe this. Presently, I will not show this this one here, codebook and all. I will just avoid it. Only I will show you how it is. See how it is. This problem can be solved properly. Only I will concentrate on these two pages. One is this. Already I explained it, how to use it. Second is the problem. Let us see this one here. So what I am doing is, I have noted the IY value from the steel table, RY from the steel table, because these two are required now. If it was restrained, we were not bothering about these two, IY as well as, that is MI about minor axis. IZ is MI about major axis. IY is MI about minor axis, and RY. You see this one here. First, I am going to calculate FCRB. Why? Because I have given that I should go with FCRB first. Because all these expressions are there in the code book. You should know the sequence. You should know in what sequence I should use these expressions and get to the answer here. Now 1.5 pi square E by LLT. What is this LLT, which was not mentioned earlier? It is length for lateral torsional buckling. Whatever span is given, 5 meter, it was a 5 meter span in that problem. I'm going to use 0.85 times that because of that table. I'll show you that one. Otherwise, directly you should use 5 and solve it. It means if this whatever I have, whatever I told, assume torsional warping restraints are provided. Also, load acts on the upper flange, that is there, which will have destabilizing effect. If you read this one, if the sentence is there, you have to refer the table. Otherwise, as it is 5 only, use and solve the problem. If the boundary conditions are not given, you take full length only. Instead of 0.85, use directly 5 meter and solve the problem. Because if the boundary conditions are not mentioned, means the student will not have any choice as to assume what is the boundary condition, what might be the boundary condition. So no need to worry about that. But here it is given. In this problem, it is given. In the examination, they have not given actually. In that case, directly use 5 and solve it. Loading condition is given here, destabilizing. Fully restrained. What is this? I'm solving unrestrained, and why I'm referring this? The meaning is fully restrained means the support conditions they are telling. See this. Conditions for restraint at the support. Beam as a whole, it is unrestrained, but supports are restrained. It is related to support conditions, whether they are free or whether they are inside the wall. Both the beam is inside the wall at the ends, something like that. So fully restrained, both flanges it is inside, both ends are fixed. Normal is there. If the normal is not given, they say it is destabilizing effect. So I'm going to use 0.85 L from this table now. Considering whatever boundary conditions they have mentioned in the question paper or in the problem. See this. Again, I'll take you back there. See this. Load acts on the upper flange, which will have destabilizing effect. If the destabilizing effect was not mentioned, I would have gone for 0.7 L. Normal it is. So since it is clearly mentioned, it will have destabilizing effect. See, this destabilizing effect is given. If there is a destabilizing effect, I will use 0.85 L. If the boundary condition itself is not given, no question of referring any tables. 5 meter only use, solve it. So this is all about your LT. Length for lateral torsional buckling. LT means lateral torsional. You see the subscript LT. Wherever it is there, it is lateral torsional buckling only. Now 0.85 L is 4250 mm. What I have done is I have substituted. I have not actually inserted those numbers here. You can use the calculator and you should get it now. I have not done here because see 1.1 pi square E 2 into 10 raised to 5 LLT by RY. LLT is 4250. You can see RY is here 2.82. I mean 22 point. I mean 28 point. See this, it is here. Look at this formula here. It is here LLT. What is this? 4250 divided by 28.2 raised to 2. E is 2 into 10 raised to 5. Again, all are same now. Like this, you have to write it HF DF. HF and TF. Flange thickness. HF is height of that. I'll show that. Once you calculate this number here, which is FCRB. Now this is 164.8. This value has come 164.8. Okay. Anyway, I'll show you one more example here. It is how this is how you should calculate FCRB. Simply gamma LT. Now observe this. FCRB is calculated. Now lambda LT is 250 by FCRB. So this is 1.23. Then alpha LT is already 0.21. It is written here in the answer here. You see. This condition again we'll discuss. We'll come back to this. But right now alpha LT is you take it as 0.21. It is also there in the code book. That number is also there 0.21. So then this is lambda LT, alpha LT are there. Then you go for phi LT. Phi LT, this formula here, you look at this one here side by side. I'm showing it. This is here. 0.5 1 plus alpha LT inside the bracket. Only this much is the bracket here. Plus is outside again. So alpha LT into this. You go on substituting this formula is there in the code book on single page. All formula is there. I'll show that one. So you don't worry about this. You understand the procedure properly first. Then lambda LT square. So you end up with 1.365. After this, you can see. After this, chi LT has to be calculated. Chi LT is, you can see this formula here. I think this it is in the next page of this. But anyway, I'm just giving you here itself. See this chi LT, you substitute all this. Find out chi LT. Let us go to the next page here. Next page of the solution. This is one example you need to solve it. Determine the design bending strength. Whatever I'm explaining today, this is one example I have given for your practice purpose. Span is 3.5. The compression flange is laterally unsupported. It means no mention, no question of using any table here. 3.5 itself is LLT. So you solve this one question paper type problem it is. So I'll go to the next step. Chi LT value here. Just see. Only one step is left here. So what I have done? Square root of phi LT square minus lambda LT square. 1 divided by that. phi LT. So I have substituted here all these values. See this 1.365. All these values are substituted here. 0.51. I end up with 0.51. Now after finding a chi LT, I should have written here that formula, last one. That is how I'm arriving at FBD. I'll write it here and again scan and I'll send it. That is FBD. I will write it in this page also. In this page here, finally I'll write FBD because FBD has to be calculated, substituted here. After finding chi LT, what I am doing, how I am getting FBD, you observe. Now you can see I got chi LT 0.51. Now finally design bending compressive strength, we reached it. FBD chi LT Fy by gamma m naught. So instead of directly using Fy, I did all these calculations. I wanted to reduce Fy because it is laterally unstable. There is a lateral torsional buckling is going to happen. Because of this, I wanted to reduce. I cannot use 250. I cannot use 250 because there is a lateral torsional buckling is there. How much I should reduce Fy? To what extent I have to reduce? That is chi LT. Chi LT is 0.5. Almost 50% of Fy is gone. You cannot use Fy 250. You have to. This is a reduction factor. Reduction to the strength. It is reduction only. Chi LT is some type of reduction factor only. Now chi LT into Fy is giving me 50% of 250 nearly, because you see this is 0.51. Chi LT is 0.51. Here it is. So 0.51 into Fy, finally I reached this number. What it indicates, 50% of bending strength has reduced. MD means, see this beta P is 1, ZP is same. FBD, what has happened to this? Normally it should have been 250, it is 115 because of all this. So just to get chi LT, so many calculations I have done. My ultimate aim was to find out a factor which I have to multiply with Fy so that actual stress, whatever is there, it comes down. Because of that is lateral dash, this one buckling of that. Now I think you should be able to solve it using the code book. At least you know the procedure. I'll just give you these parameters. What are their names? What is lambda, LT, all those things. Now see here, finally what I have done, design bending strength is FBD. It is calculated, divided by 10 raised to 3 finally. I have not done it, but here I have written 136.3 kilonewton meter. Okay, it is in Newton mm divided by 10 raised to 6. You will get a 136. It means it is the maximum bending moment that this beam can take with those boundary conditions and that much of span. So whatever load is placed on that, any point load or combination of point or UDL, whatever, the maximum moment anywhere should not exceed 136.3. For this particular beam of given cross-sectional parameters, okay, for given length and for given boundary conditions, loading should be such that bending moment produced should never be more than 136.3. This is how I am able to tell you that this much is the moment carrying capacity. If you compare these ones, because same problem I have solved as once restrained, once unrestrained, you will find that there is a drastic reduction in the moment carrying capacity of the unrestrained or laterally unsupported beam. I have already given you the notes in which we have done with. It is there on this somewhere here, but it is, I think it will be difficult for me to search and give it. Already I have given that problem in WhatsApp only. Solution as a practice, as a revision it was. You compare that restrained beam MD and this MD, whatever this bending strength, whatever 136, you compare that one, because it will be it is going to take time for me to search it. Anyway, it is already given in your WhatsApp group. It is there, I think. It is here only. See, design bending strength was smaller of these two. Page number 53. It was 267.3. In case of laterally restrained beam, same dimension, everything is same. 400 is there. Same problem. Same section was taken. Same section was taken. The way the bending moment or the bending strength was calculated, it was different. See, here the formula is beta B ZP Fy by gamma M naught. Ultimately, if you compare these two, only one thing that I have introduced in this formula is chi LT. Here, this one Fy is not directly Fy by gamma M naught, it is chi LT Fy by gamma M naught. That chi LT, gamma, all those things are FBD values. Directly I have written in this place FBD. It means a term which is called as reduction factor. It is reduction factor on account of lateral torsional buckling has been introduced here. It will reduce the Fy value, that's all. Because of that, you will not get 267.3. So laterally restrained beam is stronger because it carries 267.3. Out of these two, smaller was 267.3. And whereas laterally unrestrained, it is carrying nearly half of this, I think. Nearly, how much is this value? Just see this one here. Just see, because I'll solve one more example, otherwise I'll stop it. See this one here. I'll just bring them side by side only. Now see this here. Okay. Now you can observe here what has happened to the, even though everything is same rolled steel section is there, same geometrical properties, everything is same except the boundary conditions, and it is laterally unrestrained and restrained things are there. This is unrestrained 136.3. This is smaller of the two, means this one is 267. Very close to double. Very close to half, we can say, if you look at a laterally unrestrained beam design bending strength. So design bending strength is very close to half of when all other conditions are same, when the section is same. But see, otherwise it becomes very complicated, I'm telling you. If at all, if you assume that even the supports are not providing that lateral, this one, torsional restraint. If the supports are not doing, means the problem cannot be solved, because it goes with the supports are permitting the rotation. If the supports permit the rotation, the problem becomes still more complicated. It is not there in your syllabus only. Again, that is all further higher level it is. So don't worry about that. You have to assume the boundaries are fixed. Supports are inside only. There is no question of any torsional buckling at the support. In between it may happen, in between the supports. So I think this is a we are done with this today. Okay, I'll give the notes of this. One more is, I think I solved one more, but I am not having time now. One more I have solved from some other book actually. If it is there, I'll show it and I'll stop it for another 2-3 minutes. I'm going to. You have one more class, eh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I will stop it. Just give me 1 minute. See this one. You solve this one. You solve this one using whatever I discussed today. Determine the design bending strength of ISLB 400 558.2 Newton meter. You refer the steel table for these properties. When used as simply supported beam of span 3.5, the compression flange is laterally unsupported. So here, since other data is not available for us, LLT will be 3.5. LLT, it is not 0.85 times 3.5 and all, because that data is not there in the problem.